The darkest days are for the dawn. All that good shit. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel for these ladies because I know where their heart lies. Their heart lies in the advancement of love, real love. And that's bullshit. It's the only way to describe it. It's bullshit. Point blank, period. And I feel so bad for these ladies. But what do you say to these people? What do you say? There's not much you can really say. You have to weigh your battles and you have to understand. I know this is sounding long-winded because it's off top of the dome. And if you've ever recorded something off top of the head, it can get a little bit wild. But anyway, that being said, I have to say that another last and final issue is the emotional attachment. They latch onto these good ideas, the good stuff that happened, and they think that that good outweighs all the bad, all the cussing, all the longest nights, the cheating, the creeping, the racism, all these things, and they don't. Like, if there's any takeaway from this episode, is that those things do not add up. They do not equivalate. They don't, and they can't. And the reason they don't and they can't is because emotional strain like that is never good for you. I've seen people get physically sick from their relationship. People fall into depression. They get they get suicidal. They get these things because of the relationships. Like, you have to be careful. Not necessarily, I'm not saying be careful who you pick to date. I'm saying be careful who you pick to continue to date. Just because they're good looking, or they're funny, or they're smart, or they got good dick or pussy, it doesn't mean shit. Because that's not going to help you in the long run. I'll just let you know right now, good dick and good pussy is easy to find. Very easy to find. Good looking person, easy to find. Easy. But it's not worth your hassle. It's not worth your trouble. It's not worth the heartache. Trust me. That kind of thing is going to come back to bite you. And you don't want that. Trust me. Because I've had that. And it's not good. I've been the problem before. I've been the problem where I've caused them strain and whatnot. And I got out of there. Because I was the wrong one. I realized that I was the negative effect. Didn't make me a bad person, but it made me a bad person for that relationship. Because relationships, can't talk, are tailor-made. They're custom, if you will. They're supposed to be set for certain things. Like, two people who are good people can often not work out. Two people who are bad people can often work out great. There's no rhyme and reason to it. It's one of those, you get in there, you get your feelers, and you understand. That's why people date for like 3-4 years. And I don't know about you guys, but I recommend living with someone before you marry them, because the living experience is going to open your eyes to a lot of, like with them, they said they didn't know they were racist until they lived with them for a little bit. And that's the eye opener. When that happens, you truly understand what you're dealing with. You see what you're dealing with. And that can be instrumental into how you assess the situation. But this is my ramble. You may have noticed some weird music at the beginning. I didn't have my normal intro because this wasn't supposed to be under this, but it ended up being under this. So it is what it is, and that's all it can be. Point blank, period. But I'm not going to hold you people with this little mini rant. I got your regular scheduled episode coming out later this week. I'll have guests and all that good stuff. Well, it's already been recorded. I'm letting you know that. But, nah, man. It's just things like that just get under my skin. Because these are good, wonderful women. I know good, wonderful dudes that fall into this thing because they feel like they either can't do any better or this is what they deserve. It's a mixture of low self-esteem. I did actually an episode on a different podcast about, and I'll link it in the description, about this actual thing, about the low self-esteem that people feel like they feel like they deserve this. Basically, to sum up that whole episode in about 2 seconds, some people feel, even if people are after them sexually, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, like they find them attractive, they feel like if that person doesn't meet their criteria of attractiveness or of whatever, they feel like that person isn't after them and nobody's after them, and it leads to low self-esteem. They feel unwanted. And it's wholly random, because it's like sometimes they feel unwanted, sometimes they feel really wanted. It's completely random, and there's some logic to it, but it's like depression where it's up and down. It just depends on the day, pretty much, which is sad ultimately. But I'm going to end this episode, put out my little disclaimers and all that good stuff, shout outs. Please follow the podcast, Brisky's Place. with Risky and Mookie. They talk about random shit and all that good stuff. Follow obviously this show, Emotions and Shit. We are all on all podcast apps, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, Podbean, all that stuff. Please check it out. Let me know what you think. Please, 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 please. Sorry about this rant, but hopefully you got something out of it. You heard me cussing for once because I don't really cuss for real. Not anymore, And let us know what you think. Please, share this episode, all that stuff. You follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Laters.